Imagine waking up one day and finding out your country sold an entire region for less than the value people would later pull out of its ground. A region full of strategic power. A region most people at the time thought was worthless. A region that would later become one of the most important territories the United States ever acquired. This is the story of how Russia sold Alaska to the United States. The price, the politics, and the myth that still confuses people today. The year is 1867. Russia recently come out of the costly Crimean War, leaving its leaders worried about money, distance, and defense. Alaska is remote, expensive to protect, and dangerously close to British power in Canada. If another conflict ever broke out, Russia feared Britain could simply take the territory. So Russia made a cold strategic decision: sell Alaska now before losing it for nothing. Meanwhile, the United States had just emerged from civil war, a brutal conflict between the North and the South. The nation was rebuilding, expanding, and still thinking in continental terms. Secretary of State William Seward believed America should grow boldly, not cautiously. So when Russia opened the door for sale, Seward moved. Where others saw snow and distance, Seward saw access, reach, and future power on the Pacific Rim. The final price was $7.2 million. That worked out less than 2 cents per acre for nearly 600,000 square miles of territory. Even then, critics thought it sounded absurd. America, on the other side, mocked the deal as Seward's Folly or Seward's icebox. To many people, the United States had just paid millions for a frozen wasteland. They thought America had bought ice. They had no idea what Alaska would later become. Here is the part that we usually miss. The deal was agreed in 1867, but the payment did not move smoothly. Congressional opposition and the chaos surrounding President Andrew Johnson's impeachment delayed the appropriation. The United States eventually issued a treasury warrant or a check for full amount of $7.2 million in 1868, payable to Russian Minister Eduardo de Stickle. So the real twist is not the deal was never paid. It is that the payment got tangled in politics and later attracted myths that made the story even stranger. Then history turned. Alaska proved rich in fisheries, minerals, and later major oil production. The 1896 Klondike Gold Rush idea that Alaska was worthless. And the 20th century, Alaska's oil production and potential transformed its economic significance even further. What was marked as a bad purchase became one of the most consequential land deals in modern history. Today, Alaska is not just valuable, it is strategic. It gives the United States a critical position in the Arctic and in the Pacific Northern Rim. It sits close to Russia. It carries military, economic, and geopolitical importance far beyond what people in 1867 ever imagined. What looked like a frozen gamble became a long-term strategic win. This is an account of how a territory sold for $7.2 million ended up reshaping North America forever. I have 2 questions that still scratch my head, and I would like to hear your thoughts on this. Can any government morally sell a territory if the people living there were never asked? And as it stands today, would you want America to buy your country, and at what price?